This is Entering Tingsboro, a podcast from the town of Tingsboro and all things happening in town government and the community. I'm Roni Camille. Thanks for being here. We're having candid conversation on what's happening here in town. In this episode, we'll talk to Isabel Emmet from the Northern Middlesex County of Government about digital equity. But first, here's what you should know. The town of Tingsboro will hold an annual town election on May 21st. Polls will open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, if you don't know where to vote or who's on the ballot, you can visit the town clerk section on the town's website, tingsboroma.gov. The Friends of the Tingsboro Public Library is holding their annual used book sale on Saturday, May 18th from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in the community room at Town Hall. Now, on to the podcast.
Hi, my name is Isabel Emmet. I'm a regional land use planner with NMCOG.
So, Isabel, thanks so much for joining us on Entering Tingsboro. Isabel, in a nutshell, what is actually, in twofold, what is the role of NMCOG, and what is your role as a land use planner?
Sure. The Northern Middlesex Council of Governments is basically a regional consultant for 9 municipalities in the Northern Middlesex region, those being Bellricka, Chelmsford, Dracut, Dunstable, Lowell, Pepperell, Tewksbury, Tingsboro, and Westford.
And Isabel, primarily, what is your role with NMCOG, and how do you coordinate with these various communities?
Sure. So, like I said, we're basically a consulting team. So the entities who are taking the reins most of the time are the municipalities themselves, and we just offer our expertise. As a land use planner, I cover a variety of topics, basically anything except transportation. So that includes, of course, digital equity work, housing production plans, a little bit of sustainability work, stuff like that.
And Isabel, in the last few weeks or months, you have NMCOG and the surrounding community have been kind of doing this survey on digital equity with not only your organization, but another organization. Can you kind of expand on, and just for the folks that are listening and watching this podcast, what that entails?
Certainly. So we are doing this project with the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, MAPC. They are providing a lot of the technical expertise. They basically are a similar entity to NMCOG, but they serve the Boston area primarily. And they've done a few of these digital equity projects in the past, so they're providing the technical expertise while we're doing more of the outreach side of things, since we're more localized. And so municipalities and nonprofits and other interested stakeholders in the public would recognize us more. So it's been a very strong collaboration so far, and we are excited to see it through to the end.
And so, Isabel, for someone that may not have heard this term, what is this concept of digital equity? And is it an issue here in this community?
Yes, it is definitely an issue in this community. Digital equity refers to the ability of everyone to obtain a reliable internet connection, obtain an up-to-date device for accessing the internet, as well as having the skills to navigate the internet in terms of being able to search for the proper information, being able to evaluate what information is accurate, as well as being able to recognize a scam. We put that under the umbrella of education, digital literacy. So we have had challenges where a lot of people cannot afford an internet connection. Many are hesitant to try to dip their toe into learning digital equity related skills. A lot of times as our devices become increasingly updated and more complex, they become more expensive. So being able to get people connected properly has become a huge challenge that was brought to the forefront of national attention due to the pandemic and the increased need to work remotely. So that's how this issue came to the forefront. It has been an issue in the past, and some researchers have looked into it, but the pandemic really brought it to the forefront.
And so there are obviously some federal programs that really provides discounted internet service for low income households. How is what the work that you're doing how is that different from that?
So our plan is a regional level plan as opposed to a national or a state level plan. Certainly the connection, the affordability and the connections are important, but also the device access and the literacy and skills are necessary too. So we're trying to cover all three of those key pillars, and we feel that since we're doing it on a regional level, we want to really dig into the weeds, municipality by municipality, and looking at each municipality's unique challenges and seeing how they can connect to the region as a whole.
And so you've actually, over the last few weeks or actually months, I've had a series of conversations with obviously the folks here in this community, the stakeholders in the town offices, in the public library, and we've had a few conversations at the regional level. Can you talk to us about the current struggles that Tyngsboro is facing?
In terms of what Tyngsboro is facing currently, I'd say we're seeing a lot of the same trends as we are in other regions. I'd say the literacy part has been something that's come up a lot. Certainly issues with affordability of a connection. Those I think are the big ones that have really stood out, not just with Tyngsboro, but with regions as a whole.
And so, coming up on May 16th, you are holding what's called a strategy charrette. What exactly? What is a charrette? What does that mean?
Glad you asked. So, a charrette is basically a meeting where primarily planners get the public as well as experts together to come up with strategies to address a problem. In this case, of course, digital equity. So we hope to bring stakeholders from Tyngsboro, including librarians, educators, certainly the municipal staff, actors such as that, to come together and come up with strategies to address issues of digital equity within Tyngsboro. But they're also open to the public because we are aware that everyone's experience with digital equity is different. And in addition to coming up with the strategies, we also want to present our initial findings and be able to give stakeholders and the public a chance to say, hey, you're missing this key component, or we're not sure if this is quite the trend that we're seeing here. So we're getting also some further confirmation that what we're finding is accurate to what people are also seeing. So it's a twofold process.
Are you able to give us a little preview of what your initial findings might are?
Oh, for Tyngsboro?
Yes.
Unfortunately, at this point, we're still kind of throwing that together. Our first charrette is actually tomorrow night. We're kind of just pulling together each municipality's data as we go. MAPC is doing a lot more of the mapping side of things and the overall trends. So unfortunately, I don't have that information right off the top of my head, but we will be presenting it a week from tomorrow, and we are very excited to show everyone what we found so far.
All right, so the Digital Equity Plan Strategy Charrette is happening on May 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Old Town Hall at 10 Kendall Road in Tyngsboro. Isabel Emmet, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And that is all the time that we have today on the Entering Tyngsboro podcast. If you want to learn more about your town's government, visit the Town of Tyngsboro's website at tyngsboroma.gov. I'm Roni Camille. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, be well.